I'm James Turk. I'm a director of the Gold Money Foundation, and I'm here in Munich, Germany with Eric Spratt, founder and chairman of Spratt Asset Management in Toronto, Canada. Now, Eric, we're here at the Edelmetall Messe conference in Munich, which is one of the largest gold and silver and mining conferences in Europe. What are your impressions of this conference?
Well, as I mentioned in my speech, I'm very impressed by what's happening here. I think the thing that most impresses me as a North American who's attended his first conference where we actually transact business in precious metals, I am shocked at the level of activity in terms of people buying substantial quantities of gold and silver coins. I'm most impressed by it. And there's so many vendors here. So it's been a great conference. It's probably one of the best attended conferences I've ever been at. I think they say there's 7,000 people here, so it's been quite encouraging to come here, and thank you for the recommendation of coming here, by the way. And I think it's been a wonderful experience for us.
Yeah. In your presentation this morning, which was entitled Mania, Manipulation and Meltdown, I'd like to talk a little bit about that. What was the major theme that you explained to the audience?
Well, the mania part was the NASDAQ mania, when things were trading at ridiculous values and you knew that you had to go into a bear market. The manipulation part was all those things that governments now do to try to prevent the normal flow of a bear market. And you know, a lot of us would have thought to ourselves, surely to goodness we can't have a zero interest rate policy in the developed world. Surely to goodness we're not going to print money. Surely to goodness we can't run deficits of $1.5 trillion every year before finally someone says it's not going to work. So all of those things I kind of put into the category of manipulation, and where things are never allowed to really go bankrupt, where it always gets taken over, so there's never a liquidity event, so that the financial markets never experience that Lehman moment again when they, you know, literally almost closed the banking business down, where we're within hours of closing it. So it's this always coming to the rescue and never allowing what should naturally play out. I describe that as manipulation. And then the meltdown part would be, you know, what ultimately happens? Do we just keep printing money? Do we keep relying on central banks? Do we keep relying on governments to develop stimulus programs and have increasing debt? Or do we someday have to face the music? And the music it will result in a meltdown, one way or the other. If we come up with austerity, we'll get shrinking GDP, as we experience in Greece. Once GDP went down, of course, the bond rates, the interest rates went through the roof, which put them in a death spiral. And we may see that in other countries as these rates start going up in the double digits, and there's more demands for austerity. The more austerity, the more the deficit goes up, and the more the interest rates go up. So I don't know how we get out of it. I don't think we get out of it by having austerity. I think, you know, we'll just bring on the difficulties faster, and I think therefore they've opted to print money, and let's just see if we can extend and pretend and keep it going and hope that things become normal. But ultimately that would probably lead to some form of hyperinflation. So
printing money is obviously not the solution then?
No. Well, I think most careful people are very aware that printing money debases currencies and makes things that are real more valuable denominated in the currency. And that's why you and I are so involved in gold and silver and trying to suggest to people that there's not an easy way out here, and that in either scenario, gold and silver seems to be the obvious place to invest your money.